Hello students, I am Neha Verma and this is my channel for NTA NET JRF in English Literature, and we'll be covering the remaining portion of the poem Canterbury Tales from the Wife of Bath's Tale till the end. And in the previous section of Canterbury Tales, we had covered four tales by different people, and the last tale was the Sergeant at Law's Tale. So before going further, kindly like this channel, subscribe this channel, and if you really like the video after completing it, then do share it with your friends, neighbors, relatives, or whoever who needs the video to listen. Thank you, and we'll begin the session from now. So the first section is about Wife of Bath's Tale, where it's about the main focus is on the theme of what a woman desires. So here's a man called Knight. He doesn't have a name here. He molests a country maiden. Who is a maiden here? She's a woman here, and she's from countryside, means rural side, from village area. So the knight molests that country woman, and as a punishment, she tells him that you have to find it out like what the woman desires the most. So he goes to an old woman and he asks her, and after getting the right answer, the old woman wants this knight to fulfill whatever wish she demands to that man, and she demands to get married to that person. And after so many denials, at last that knight had to obey the decision taken by the woman. And going further, this old woman one day asked the knight, like, what do you want? What do you want from me? Like an ugly woman with a faithful heart, or a beautiful woman with less faithful heart, or with infidelity. Infidelity is disloyalty. So he says that I do not want you to be beautiful and faithless, but just be ugly and faithful to me forever. And after granting this wish, she becomes beautiful, faithful to the husband, and she becomes younger again. So this was the Wife of Bath's Tale. The major thing which you need to remember is what the woman desires the most. So there was a question in one of the net exam, like what was the theme of the Wife of Bath's Tale. So you can now be able to answer the question very easily. Okay, the next tale is the Friar's Tale here. So who is a friar? Friar is a beggar. So it is another name of a beggar here. So Friar's Tale is about a summoner because he got to insult him. So this the whole thing is about in the Canterbury Tales is about jealousy, is about gluttoniness, is about avarice, is about greediness. So you will be get to know the different kind of qualities or mischiefs in a person which resides in one human being. So the friar got a person called Belif. Who is a Belif? Belif is a law officer, and he disguised himself as devil. So they both went to see a farmer who got stuck in the mud, and there they both are trying to get the wheel out from the dig, and there they find that summoner cheats an old woman. Sumner was in a process of cheating an old woman by putting wrong charges against her so that the devil can take away her soul. So everybody in this story wants the devil to take the soul of wrong people or the people who they hate. Right? So here also the old woman in return wishes that someone please take the soul of the summoner. And this wish, which was very genuine because Sumner was a very corrupt person in the town. So the man who was Belif wasn't real a law officer, sorry, wasn't real a devil. And he takes the soul of Summoner at the end of the story. So this is about a friar's tale where Summoner and Belif go to some town, and there they fulfill the wish of an old woman. Not both of them, just a one man called Belif who was disguised as devil. He fulfill the wishes of the old woman. Right. Next thing is about the summoner's tale. Now, who is a summoner? Summoner is a person who preaches the tale, or who preaches moral duties, moral liabilities to the people in the church. Right, so Summoner wants to take revenge from the friar. Like in real, in this prologue, Summoner got to take the revenge from the friar because friar had used the name of Summoner to insult him. So now he is taking the revenge, and he tells the story about a friar. That friar uh, go to a man called Thomas, and there he convinces Thomas to give all of the wealth, the entire gold which he has, and he also convinces his wife that we know that you do not have your child now because he is dead, and we have seen your child by going upward to the abode of God. So we can cure your misery, and we can get you free from the sins and whatever the burden you are taking from all the wrong times or the set times. So he convinces both of them, but Thomas is a very shrewd man here. He is an angry man also, and he got a bit of intelligence with himself. So he says that okay, you can take the money, but only on but only with the condition, and he puts the condition, and there at the end of the story, Friar gets befooled and he gets very angry, and remaining thing you can read from the story. I am just telling the gist of it because nothing more than that is important. But still, if you want to take an idea, you can go through the notes which I have mentioned here. I have created the bigger notes here, not as just as a PPT kind of thing. I have put all my efforts in writing the notes here, so you can read them and make your own notes here. Okay. Now, after this, we have Clerk's Tale here. So, the major person is Griselda here. This question has multiple times come in the exam, and it is about the loyalty tale, the loyalty story, like which was the person in Canterbury Tales who is famous for her loyalty. So, Griselda is the woman. So, she has a long suffering tale. Griselda got a husband who takes test of her loyalty by treating her very, very brutally and by not expressing the love for her. So she kind of gets suffocated in the whole life by the routines and the schedules of her husband, which gets them to lead a divorce. And Griselda patiently watches this. She becomes very, very resilient here. But at the end, when her husband find it out that everything was very, very above to the expectation, and she forgives everything of her worries, and sorry, and he forgives everything also, and he kind of get apologized for whatever he has done to know about the heart of Griselda. Was she faithful to him or not faithful to him? And at the end, he gives her all the love, all the care which she deserves. So this is about the love, the patience, the suffering, and the loyalty of Griselda. The Clerk Tale is about Griselda's suffering tale. Okay, now further we are coming to the merchant's tale. So who is a merchant first of all? Merchant is a person who trades something. And here we have the story of an old man whose name is January, who marries a young girl called May. So these are the months here. The characters are on the season's name, based on the season's name. And May and Damien, they are the love buddies, yeah, and they cheated old January. So January eventually loses his eyesight, and he gradually gets jealous of everyone who surrounds us, who are surrounded outside the home of home of them, the two people, and he couldn't know about the affair between his wife and Damien, which is the first fact here. And second, one day, they both, the couple, the husband and wife, they go to a garden, and there they saw a pear tree. This is important. They saw the pear tree here, and the wife wishes to pluck a pear from this tree. And in that time, in that duration, she decides to have a love-making scene with Damien. But the god here, Pluto, the god here, appears suddenly and grants a promise to help this old man because he cannot see someone as doing wrong to the husband here. But here, Proserpina, who is Pluto's wife, convinces January that you shouldn't give this harsh punishment to your wife, but instead she wishes that the old January must grant the special power which was given by Pluto to him. So he must grant this power to her to his wife here, who is May, so to save her marriage and makes her say that she was trying to help herself from the molestation done by Damon, and she did so only to restore the eyesight of her husband, as was told by Damon. So this is the love liaison here, the cheatingness here, the cheating here, sorry, and it is all about the three characters, Damien, Old January and May. So, which was the tale about the season's name? The Merchant's Tale is about the characters of season's name. याद रहेगा आप लोगों को? Next है हमारा The Square's Tale. Okay. The Square's Tale, it is an unfinished tale. First of all, remember this, it is an unfinished tale and it is about the king Cambioskin who gets a magic horse, sword, mirror and ring. The words which I have highlighted here, these are important. You need to remember this. He got a gift from King of Araby and India. And what were the gifts? Magic horse, sword, mirror and ring. So what does a magic horse do? Magic horse uh, take the man wherever he desires to go in a few seconds, and the mirror lead to see the secrets of future misfortunes and maladies, and the ring helps in understanding the speech of birds, and the mirror, sorry, and the sword helps in uh, getting the wounds done, getting the wounds, taking back the earlier situation, and the sword has also the ability to cut through the thickest armor. Armor is a cover on a body of a knight or a soldier. So these are the four offerings given by King of Arabian India to the King Cambioskin. Okay, remember this. Then the next tale is about the Franklin's tale. Franklin's tale says that they have a character called Dorigen and Aurelius. Dorigen is a woman who meets Aurelius during the during her husband's absence. And who was the husband here? Arviragus is a husband here. So Dorigen is very very faithful to the husband, but Aurelius falls in love with Dorigen and he could do anything to get her love as soon as possible. But she denies his love and finally says that he can have her if he can make all the rocks from the coastline disappear, and thus it assures her husband's return safe. So he does the same with the help of a magician. But at last, when Dorigen's husband Arviragus returns back from the journey, he tells everything to the wife that I didn't have any storm in the way, I didn't have any difficulty in reaching here, and I didn't have any view of stones and rocks in middle of the sea. So it was an easy journey for me. And Dorigen, when Dorigen tells about Aurelius and what was her demand of fulfilling the love condition, after listening everything from her wife, Arviragus says that she must respect the promise which she has made with the other person. But after listening everything, Aurelius himself gets melted by the love and affection between both the couple. So he changes his mind, but he goes back to the magician and tells everything, and he was unable to give the money back to the magician in lieu of all the magical powers. But after listening everything, he again forgives Aurelius, and at the end of the story, Franklin appeals to everyone to all the pilgrims, like they have to judge who was the most gentle character in the whole story. So this was about Dorigen, Aurelius, and Arviragus. Okay, and now we are coming to the next tale, which is the physician's tale here. It is about a tragic story, a sad story of a maiden called Virginia. Virginia is the name of a woman who is very chaste person here. And there is a corrupt judge whose name is Appius, and he wants to let down the fame of Virginia and her father by saying that he had invented a charge of kidnapping to force her father that he must reject whatever her daughter says in against of every other person who is coming and proposing Virginia. So he got an assistant here, Claudius, and he is kind of a person every evil who helps in every evil thing in support of the judge called Appius. So Claudius and Appius are together in everything, in every mischief and in every malice of the town. And there, the father feels that he cannot fulfill the condition which was given by the judge Appius. So he and Virginia decides that Virginia will take a poison and finish her life. So it will be good for the family's fame also, and it is the only method to get prevented by the evil person Appius and Claudius. But meanwhile, when the town folks got to know about the cruel and brutal person Appius and Claudius, they throw Appius into the prison where he himself does a suicide, and another person, Claudius, was sent to exile. So this was the end of the story. Then further we have a tale which is Pardoner's tale. Who is a pardoner? Who forgives everyone. So it is about the three drunken men, people who have taken alcohol and they are in search of a man who is called Death. There is a man who has a name called Death. So in this alcoholic situation, they all went out to find about the man, and they meet a person who who informs them about a man called Death who was last seen at an oak tree. So they reach the place there, and the men go in haste to that spot. Which spot? The oak tree spot, and rather they find eight bushels of gold. What are the eight bushels of gold? They are the currencies of gold. So they forget everything and they plan some evil strategy and trick to get most of the gold. And by till the end, they all the three get to slay themselves through their foolery, through their foolishness, right? So at the end of the story, no one is there alive in the story. All the three drunken men meet their fortune by getting killed everyone. Okay, so the next story is about the sea captain's tale. It is about a monk, like how does he cheat a merchant? And one day, this monk, goes to a merchant's wife and he places a condition that I will give you 100 francs, but you have to sleep with me. So she says, okay, I'll do that. And when they had this sexual intimacy, after after the completion of that scene, one day when the merchant returns and meet the monk here, so the monk says to the merchant that I had given some money to your wife, so kindly return me back. And merchant goes to his wife and asks for the money. So she says as an answer that she had drained every franc or every currency of the money with the washing of the clothes. So here she wanted to say that I do not have any money left with me. I have drained everything while I was washing the clothes. So this is about how does a monk cheat a merchant. And the important thing which you need to remember in this tale is that the monk asks for 100 francs. What was the amount? 100 francs. And who is the merchant here? Merchant who got a wife and she sleeps with monk. That is the tale. Next tale is about the Prioress tale. Prioress, the very important character in this Canterbury Tales, she addresses to the Virgin. Her tale is about a woman called Virgin and explains how the Jews killed a Christian boy, like how the townspeople killed the Christian boy, and the townspeople all of them were Jew. The Virgin renders some specific power, means he gives sorry, it was not a he was not a woman, he's a man here. So the Virgin renders some specific power of speech to the dead boy so that he can be able to take revenge of his death. This is the very short tale here. You just need to remember the name Virgin. Virgin is a guy here, and he helps that other Christian boy to take the revenge of his death. Just this. Then we have the next tale, which is of Sir Topaz tale, and it is the first story. This is you. This is very very important, and you need to remember this. This is the first story told by Chaucer, which tells about a young knight whose name is Sir Topaz and goes in quest of an elf queen, in search of an elf queen. Who is an elf? Elf is a fairy, and and the Sir Topaz goes in search of elf queen. When he reaches to the fairyland, he meets a giant here. Giant, who is a giant? He's a person who has bigger structure of body as compared to the other human beings, and he promises to have a duel. What is a duel? Duel is a fight between two people. So he promises to have a duel and come back to his land. Then Chaucer further tells us about the duel. How does the duel go? So here, when he was telling this tale, Sir Topaz tale, because it was told by Chaucer, so this tale was interrupted by the host, and the host, however, discontinued the story and informs Chaucer to describe some apt story. So the whole meaning is this, that when he was trying to tell Sir Topaz's tale, Chaucer was trying to tell Sir Topaz's tale. This tale was told by Chaucer, right? And this tale was interrupted by the host. Who was the host? Harry Bailey was the host. So he didn't like the story, and he said to Chaucer that you must tell us some other story which would be apt and clear to listen. Chaucer then connects the tale of Melibea. So at the end, which was the incomplete end of this Sir Topaz tale story, there he merges another story, and the name of the story was the tale of Melibea. This is important, and you need to remember this. So Melibea's rivals try to uh, demolish his house, try to destruct his house, and his daughters gets injured in this process. But the wife, who is the wife? Dame Prudence. But the wife, Dame Prudence, forces him to stop all ideas of revenge and to forgive his enemies. So this story is about Melibea, who got rivals here, and they demolished the houses, they demolished the house, and his family got injured, daughter got injured, but his wife, who is Dame, who tells that we should not fight more with these rivals, but instead of this we must forgive all of them, because this is the major moral duty of humanity. Then further we have the monk's tale. This is the tale which is written in a series of mishappenings, and inside the story, there is a knight who can no longer hold up the boring and dull stories, and there he interrupts the monk. After this, so monk doesn't tell a complete story. I mean, what I mean to say in this story, that whenever monk starts to tell something to the pilgrims, his every story was interrupted by the people of by the whole people who were going towards the pilgrimage, and the person who is knight here, he couldn't control his anger, his boring attitude here, and immediately stops the monk to stop the story of these mishappening series of stories. Okay, so we are further getting the tale of the nun's priest tale. This is very very important for your net purpose, and this is about a delightful beast fable. What is a beast fable? A fable, a story which is about a monster, right? So it talks about the misfortune that comes upon a cock whose name was Chanticleer. So this name is important, and question questions were asked from this tale, who was Chanticleer and what was the moral of the story, and Chanticleer was the character in which of the tale inside the Canterbury Tales. Right, so you need to remember this. So Chanticleer is a cock here, and when he chooses to ignore the vision of his dream to please his pretty wife, Berthelot. Berthelot is a wife of this cock Chanticleer. A fox known as Don Russell catches him off guard by commending his melodious voice. So there's a fox. He is a clever fox and he tries to change his voice, tries to make his voice, and he calls both the cocks to kidnap the Chanticleer and his family there. So Chanticleer's kidnapping raises a great hue and a cry to all the villagers which who try to capture the fox. Now this is the point here that Chanticleer gets very sad upon this dream. This was all the situation which was this was all the events which was taking place inside the dream, which were taking place inside the dream, and Chanticleer requests the fox to yell abuses at the villagers. So he tells the fox that you must tell some abusive language to the villagers. So the moment fox opens his mouth, Chanticleer drops down. Before this abusing of the language, Chanticleer was kidnapped by this fox in his mouth, and at this moment Chanticleer requests this fox to shout aloud to the villagers, and the moment he opens the mouth, Chanticleer drops down from his mouth and he immediately flew cheerfully to a tree top. So the fox again eulogized Chanticleer, but the cock does not get entrapped in the same trap twice. Here the fox again tries to imitate a voice of a cock, but he couldn't do so because the Chanticleer the cock was again get a signal that this can be a trap, the same trap twice. So he doesn't respond here. This is the end of the story. So who were the important characters here? Chanticleer and Berthelot, who was his wife, and Fox. Fox has got a name here, Don Russell. Okay, and further we have the tale called the Second Nun's Tale. This tale worships the Virgin Mary. So this tale is about the Virgin Mary and how does a virgin girl named Cecilia converts her husband and his brother to Christianity. How does a virgin girl, Celia, converts her husband and his brother to Christianity? They both deny worshipping these gods, and in spite of the prosecution for the act of conversion, they what do? Cecilia managed to convert some more of their prosecutors. She was eventually slain. So when someone in the earlier time, in the ancient time, tried tries to convert anyone into Christianity or into any other religion, the every person in the village punishes that single man or a woman, and eventually they kill that person. Okay, we further have the tale called the Canon's Yeoman Tale. The Canon's Yeoman's Tale. And that means Canon is describing a tale about Yemen, and Yeoman's Tale is about uh, his experiences during the practice of alchemy. What do you mean by alchemy? Alchemist, what does an alchemist do? An alchemist is a person who mixes the herbs and the mixture of Ayurvedic things and made some kind of medicines to fool the people. The tale states that how a canon befools a priest into believing that he could change mercury into silver. So this is a trap here. How does a man can change mercury into silver and sold him the false formula for 40 pounds? Like what was the amount here? 40 pounds, you can remember this. And what was the whole important thing here in the story? That Canon befooled someone by converting mercury into silver, as he says in a statement, but this was a foolery. And you just need to remember that there was an alchemist inside it. Who was the alchemist? That Canon is an alchemist here. Next, we have the Manciple's tale here. The Manciple's tale is about Phoebus, who got a white crow that had singing skills and who can talk too. At the same time, he can talk. 2. So while Phoebus was far away on a trip with his wife, and he get to know that his wife was making love with her secret lover. So the crow unfolds the secret and Phoebus slays his wife. He is then filled with despair and angrily disdains the crow. He angrily destructs the life of crow. He cut out its feathers and removes it with black ones, and so that all of its descendants, so that all of his descendants shall have a coarse voice as a curse. Next, we have the Parson's Tale. It is the last story. It talks about Pro's sermon on the seven deadly sins. This is very, very important for your examination point of view. Here, you can get a question that which was a tale famous for the seven deadly sins. So you can write an answer. The Parson's Tale was about the seven deadly sins. The Canterbury Tale finishes with Chaucer's retractions, where he rejects all his secular works, including those stories of Canterbury that are immortal. So Chaucer's tale was incomplete tale. What was the tale's name? Sir Topaz tale. And first tale, which was told by the knight. His tale was also the incomplete tale. You got to know that there were two tales which were incomplete in this story. So this is about the Canterbury Tales, and thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe this channel if you really liked it, and you can get to know more about the period of Renaissance from the next video, and I'll be posting the continue video daily from now onwards, and kindly show some love on this channel. Thank you.